The weekly candle for Bitcoin just closed and we were down over 18% for just this week on Bitcoin, coming into this area to actually stop people out of their stop positions. Plus Ethereum, you can see a massive downturn on the 4-hourly time frame. And where are we right now? We're right at this exponential moving average with a downslope on the EMA. It's pretty clear where prices are going to go. I'm going to give you an update on my latest crypto positions. Plus, I have a lot of crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. Smash the like, smash the subscribe, and tap that notification bell to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. Make sure to check out my trading masterclass in this video description that's currently 50% off. Let's first begin with the weekly time frame on Bitcoin. As you can see, we've now got a new weekly bar beginning this new week. Last week was a big downwards direction. For the last 2 months, we'd basically been sideways in these sideways trading range bars, and now we finally had a massive break to the downside. I'd been speaking a lot about once this area through here got a break above, we broke above this high, a lot of people were putting their stops right in this area. The reason being is it was the last swing stop position. That does make sense to actually put your stop in the market. And look what exactly has happened. Price came right into this area, wicked into this area, got a lot of people out of their stop positions, got them exited out of the market, and now the market is beginning to make those slightly higher pushes. Overall, I have been stopped out of my current Bitcoin position when we actually extend this trendline trading strategy all the way through here, where we connect this bottom to this high, then connect it all the way through. You can see that we made a really strong break below this trendline trading strategy, and I have been exited out of my position. I was slightly in profit as my position was somewhere entered right through here and I exited right through here. So it was just a slight amount of profit on the trade, but overall not a massively profitable trade. When we scroll out on the market now, you can see that the current EMA is actually ticking to the downside. All through this area, we had a really positive EMA telling me that the longs had a high probability. We've now broken below this EMA, which is starting to signal to me that we're definitely not long and strong in the market. What I am expecting is a bit of a trading range where you can see prices have been failing to break above this upside. Prices are currently failing to break to this low side. I'm expecting some of this trading range price action where we begin to potentially come back to this high, get a bit of a rejection, come back to this low, and I am slightly expecting now some slightly slower prices, especially because we've broken this exponential moving average to the downside. So last thing I want to go over on this price is currently looking at Ethereum. When we look at Ethereum on the 4-hourly time frame, you can see we had a massive downturn in the market. We were all sideways in this area and we wicked down over 20% in the market, and we came back and only dropped 10%. So we made a massive 20% drop and we made a 10% wick back. You can see what was actually happening is there were a lot of stop positions trying to get stopped out in the market. Overall, we look at the current EMA. Current EMA is sloping to the downside. Once we get a massive break away from price, away from this exponential moving average, it then tells us that there's a high probability play that once we touch this long-term exponential moving average, that we get short in this position and we look for a trend continuation, because you just scroll out and you look at the current trend. The trend was sideways and had a massive rejection in the market. Would make sense that again we move sideways in this area and then have another massive rejection in the market. It would make a lot of sense. Now let's move over to the latest in crypto news, and I'll come back and go over some altcoins later in this video. So we can see latest in crypto news, this Bitcoin weekly chart. So this is actually scrolling out, and it is on the weekly time frame, but it's actually scrolled out even more on the weekly time frame. And you can see on this area here, which is the latest in price, this is where we were creating that long-term trendline trading strategy. But when we scroll out again, you can even see once we're connecting, we're basically in this uptrending channel where right now we've slightly broken to the downside, but we're still inside of this trending channel. We did make touches to the bottom. We then made rejections to the upside. Now looks like potentially we'll come back into this area around that $25,000 per Bitcoin. We make a support and then look for those higher prices coming, hopefully pushing above that $100,000 level, which does does make sense, especially if we are going to break above the old all-time high for Bitcoin, for all these other cryptocurrencies. Are we expecting the next bull run? I truly am expecting this next bull run, and it does make sense that we are having a bit of a rejection here. We look back in this 2020 region, you can see we went from $3,000 per Bitcoin up to this $15,000 region. We made a massive uptick in the market. We then had a massive rejection in the market before we had a really, really strong push. That's potentially what's happening here. We've gone from this $15,000 per Bitcoin. We pushed up to this $30,000 per Bitcoin. People have doubled their money. They're now selling out of some of their position, and they'll buy back lower at around this $20,000 to $25,000 per Bitcoin, looking for much higher prices to the upside. It is official. Just like every price cycle, Bitcoin dropped below its BMSB in August to September of its pre-halving year, which also coincided to a drop in the SPX. Many on here are trying to overcomplicate things, but pre-halving years get both bull and bears wrecked, and that makes a lot of sense because we're right now in the pre-halving year. Next year, in 2024, in April, is when we're going to get the next halving event for Bitcoin. And that year before the halving event, you do see a lot of volatility in the market, a lot of upwards volatility, a lot of downwards volatility. When we actually scroll out and look back at 2020, you can see we had a very similar movement like this, made a big push to the upside late in this area in 2020 when we had that big massive rejection news. We then broke below this exponential moving average. We came back around this region and then made those much higher prices, and that is what I'm expecting currently on Bitcoin. This next thing is from Leo Trades. The perception that everyone is bullish on crypto strikes me as insane. 90% of people left already, and only remaining 10% are split very evenly bull and bear. Great opportunities must be seen as unlikely, and right now that's in crypto. The odds of 20 to 1 work for me. Send it. And this does make a lot of sense because you look, there's currently only 10% of the people that were around back in this 2021 bull run. You can see all in this area, we had tiny movements, massive push to the upside, over 100%, settling at around this 50 to 75%, and now we're at this 11%. So overall, still looking to stay strong into crypto because a lot of people are exiting out of the market. A lot of people are not interested in crypto anymore. They're seeing what's been happening over the past few years. They're like, I'm just over crypto. And that's when all of a sudden prices make that massive push to the upside. Let's actually have a look at a couple different cryptocurrencies. We'll scroll out and we'll look at Dogecoin. We can actually see, you can see this was already on Dogecoin. I actually drew this last week, and this was the actual chart that I was looking at, and I was talking about expecting a rejection in this area and then looking to buy back in this bottom 25% area, and you can see this is exactly what happened. We literally rejected, and we've already come back into the bottom 25%. A lot of people would have sold here. They would actually already be out of their position. Bottom 25%, they're already out. So overall, downwards trending trading range. Overall, it's still expecting an upside breakout because a downwards trending trading range has a high probability of upside breakout. Overall, still sideways in the market, looking to buy low and to sell high. Overall, looking at Binance Coin, as I was actually talking about for many weeks, I was talking to you that all through this region, we had a really strong downtrend in the market. Once we get a really strong downtrend in the market and then we begin to move sideways, we're going to have a high probability of the continuation of the previous breakout. So at a previous downwards breakout, we then move sideways in the market. There's a much higher probability of continued downside breakout because that's what we've done in the past. It's a high probability of the future. That's exactly what's happened on Binance Coin. You can see over a 10% drop, a really easy trade. Even looking at Litecoin just coming out of its halving, as the halving happened on the 1st of August, already down massive from the high. From this high of the pre-halving event all the way down, Litecoin is already down 50%. So after its halving event, down 50%, it is what is expected. Litecoin, if you look in the past, and I've spoke about this in all my other videos, that there was always a pre-halving run up, and then coming into the halving, there always is a massive sell-off. Even looking at AVAX coin definitely not looking that exciting right now, making those big pushes to the downside. Basically, what it looks like to me is we're in a form of a wedge right here, which actually usually tells me that there's high probability of continued upside momentum. Reason being is this downwards wedge usually has high probability of continued upside breakout. I'm only trading with the current probabilities, and that's what you need to be doing too. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe buttons, tap that notification bell to stay up to date with all of my latest YouTube videos, plus leave a comment if you've been enjoying these latest videos. Check out my trading masterclass in this video description, currently 50% off. And if you'd like to keep watching my YouTube videos, click the video that's on your screen right now.